पाकिस्तान के खिलाफ बहुत सारे महाज खुले, कुछ हमने खुद खोले और काफी सारे हमारे खिलाफ खोले गए। आज के महाज तनकीद के नाम। बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम, अस्सलाम वालेकुम। मैं हूं वजाहत सईद खान। तनकीद करना हमारा काम है, हमारा फरीजा है, हमारा अकीदा है, मगर तनकीद जो है वो सबूत के साथ होती है। और शायद दुनिया में सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट जगह जिधर आपको तनकीद सबूत के साथ सिखाई जाती है और जिधर तनकीद सबूत के साथ एक्सेप्ट की जाती है और कोई किस्म की तनकीद नहीं एक्सेप्ट की जाती, वो एक यूनिवर्सिटी होती है। यूनिवर्सिटी में आपको बड़ा नाप के तोल के अपनी डिबेट जो है, अपना मुद्दा जो है वो पेश करना पड़ता है। जॉर्ज टाउन पाकिस्तान पब्लिक पॉलिसी कॉन्फ्रेंस जो कल परसों में खत्म हुई, जिसके ऊपर भी बहुत सारे लोगों ने तनकीद तो नहीं की, इल्जाम तराशी की, बेबुनियाद इल्जाम तराशी की कि ये आईएसआई का, जीएचक्यू का और फौजी जर्नलों का एक इंफॉर्मेशन ऑपरेशन है, जिसमें एक नॉर्मल नैरेटिव सेट किया जा रहा है कि पाकिस्तान बड़ा हैप्पी है, बड़ा खुशहाल है, बड़ा जबरदस्त है। ये जो तनकीद जिन लोगों ने की, आज हमारा उन लोगों के लिए एक सबूत के साथ जवाब है। हमारी कीनोट स्पीच जो हमारे कीनोट स्पीकर नंबर 1 हामिद मीर साहब ने की। हामिद मीर साहब हमारी कीनोट चॉइस इसलिए थे क्योंकि वो सालों से तनकीद कर रहे हैं सिस्टम की। वो एक इंटरेस्टिंग चॉइस इसलिए हैं क्योंकि उनसे कभी लेफ्ट जो है उनको तनकीद करता है पाकिस्तान का, कभी राइट उनको तनकीद करता है, कभी फौजी उन पे इल्जाम तराशी से ज्यादा भी और बहुत चीजें करते हैं, और कभी मुफ्ती जो हैं वो भी उनके पीछे पड़ जाते हैं। 2 असैसिनेशन अटेम्प्ट्स इन पे हुए हैं। इनके पेट में गोली आज तक लॉन्च हुई है जो इनके ऊपर अटैक हुआ था। अब हम सबको पता है वो अटैक किसने किया था, हम सबको पता है कि हामिद मीर ने क्या लिख दिया था, क्या बोल दिया था जिसके ऊपर ये अटैक हुआ था, मगर वो पुरानी बातें हैं। आज के हामिद मीर के ऊपर जो होती है बात कि वो मेन स्ट्रीम मीडिया पे इमरान खान के ऊपर या डेमोक्रेसी के ऊपर या जमहूरियत के ऊपर बातें इनफ नहीं करते, हामिद मीर ने सबको डिसप्रूव किया। जॉर्ज टाउन यूनिवर्सिटी जो वाशिंगटन की सबसे बड़ी, सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट पब्लिक पॉलिसी यूनिवर्सिटी है, उधर आके 15 मिनट लंबी कीनोट स्पीच में ऐसी बातें की जो अभी तक कोई पाकिस्तानी मेन स्ट्रीम एंकर इधर अमेरिका में खड़े होकर जिसने इस साल कम से कम नहीं की। डोनाल्ड ट्रंप के ऊपर तनकीद, फलस्तीन के ऊपर तनकीद, इजराइल के ऊपर तनकीद, पाकिस्तान की फॉरेन पॉलिसी और पब्लिक पॉलिसी के ऊपर तनकीद, और वेरी इंपॉर्टेंटली पाकिस्तान के सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट कैदी के ऊपर जो सिस्टम जो पागल हो गया है उस बात के ऊपर तनकीद। हामिद मीर ने वार्निंग भी दी कि ये जो 4 डिक्टेटर्स पाकिस्तान ने भुगते हैं, मगर फिर भी पाकिस्तान ने उन सबको फारिग किया है। अगला जो निज़ाम हमारे ऊपर आया हुआ है ये भी पाकिस्तानी रिजेक्ट करेंगे। अब आप खुद सोचें कि क्या ये बातें एक नॉर्मल एवरीथिंग इज ओके, हर चीज पाकिस्तान में सही है, इस किस्म के नैरेटिव से जाके लगती हैं? नहीं। तो ये कौन लोग हैं, ये कौन से डॉक्टर हैं या कौन से हकीम हैं जिन्होंने ये बातें हमारे लिए की हैं? आप जानते हैं ये कौन है। मेरा जो पिछला शो था उसमें मैंने सख्त जुबान इस्तेमाल की इन लोगों के खिलाफ। मैंने इन लोगों को वार्निंग भी दी, बल्कि मैंने इन लोगों को टाइम भी दिया। परसों भी दिया 24 घंटे का, आज भी दिया 24 घंटे का कि प्रूव करें। ये तो कुछ प्रूव नहीं कर सकेंगे। इन्होंने जो कहना था लास्ट मिनट पे हमें सैबोटाज करने की कोशिश इन्होंने की, बेचारों ने, वो इन्होंने की, उससे कुछ हुआ नहीं। हुआ ये कि हमारी जो कॉन्फ्रेंस है अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह परफेक्टली, स्मूथली, ब्रिलियंटली गई। फुल हाउस था, 450-500 बंदा था जिन्होंने हमारे तमाम पैनल्स, चाहे वो पब्लिक पॉलिसी पे हो, पब्लिक हेल्थ पे हो, पाकिस्तान के क्लाइमेट पे हो, टेक्नोलॉजी पे हो, जमहूरियत पे हो, तमाम पैनल्स हमारे अटेंड हुए। स्टैंडिंग रूम ओनली था, मगर वो आप खुद देखेंगे अगले आने वाले दिनों में, क्योंकि हम आपके सामने मिनट बाय मिनट और ब्लो बाय ब्लो हमारे जो अलग पैनल्स हैं, हमारी जो अलग स्पीचेस हुई, उनको दिखाएंगे। मगर आज जो हमारा पहला की नोट था, हामिद मीर साहब जो बहुत फ्लाई करके आए, बहुत दूर से, जेट लैग थे, थके हुए थे, फिर भी उन्होंने एक जबरदस्त स्पीच की, एक बैलेंस स्पीच की, एक जिम्मेदार स्पीच की और एक फेयर स्पीच की। हामिद मीर साहब ने एक प्रोग्राम भी रिकॉर्ड किया अपने जियो न्यूज के लंबे लॉन्गेस्ट रनिंग शो पाकिस्तान का जो कैपिटल टॉक है, वो प्रोग्राम भी उन्होंने रिकॉर्ड किया। हमारे जो स्टूडेंट लीडर्स हैं उन्होंने उनसे भी बातें की, हमारे जो बाकी लोग आए हुए थे उनसे भी मिले, और वो भी आप प्रोग्राम शायद अनकरीब देखेंगे, या शायद वो प्रोग्राम ऑलरेडी पाकिस्तान में चल गया है। हाँ, उन्होंने मेरा इंटरव्यू नहीं किया, मगर मुझे बाद में उन्होंने एक्सक्यूज किया, बताया कि तुम्हारा इंटरव्यू करना जो है वो उससे शायद बैलेंस खराब हो जाता। अभी कौन सा बैलेंस जो है उन्हीं पता है, क्योंकि उन्होंने वापस जाके रहना है पाकिस्तान में, और पाकिस्तान में जर्नलिस्ट कैसे ऑपरेट करते हैं। मैं सिंपैथाइज करता हूं कि उन्होंने मेरा इंटरव्यू नहीं किया, कोई बात नहीं, मगर हामिद मीर का जो काम था वो उन्होंने किया। एक फेयर, बैलेंस्ड और इंपॉर्टेंट स्पीच की, जिसमें की नोट में उन्होंने टोन सेट कर दी कि आगे पूरे दिन में क्या होने वाला है। तनकीद के ऊपर तनकीद, बड़े बड़े लोगों के ऊपर बड़े बड़े फोरम्स में इतने बड़े अल्फाज में तनकीद करना हर बंदे का काम नहीं। और अगर जो हमारे ऊपर तनकीद और इल्जाम तराशी लोग करते हैं कि हमने पाकिस्तान की आईएसआई, पाकिस्तान की फौज और जनरलों के साथ मिली भगत करके एक ऐसा जबरदस्त इंफॉर्मेशन ऑपरेशन किया है जिसमें हम उन्हीं की तनकीद कर रहे हैं इतनी बड़ी यूनिवर्सिटी में, तो फिर ठीक है वरना उनकी जो बातें हैं वो बेबुनियाद हैं। तो अगर डॉक्टर या हकीम जितने भी हैं वो अगर ये बात करना चाह रहे हैं कि ये एक्चुअली आईएसआई ने इसलिए करवाया कि जॉर्ज टाउन यूनिवर्सिटी में आईएसआई की तनकीद हो 500 लोगों के सामने, तो ठीक है, अगर नहीं तो फिर ये प्रूफ है कि उनकी जो बातें हैं वो बेबुनियाद है। अब हामिद मीर को एंजॉय करें, हमारे ओपनिंग कीनोट को एंजॉय करें और अपनी सुबह पाकिस्तान में एंजॉय करें। I'll talk to you very soon. Have a good night here in America. Have a good morning out in Europe and Pakistan. I will talk to you in a few hours. Pakistan, Zindabad.
So, first of all, I would like to link the public policy and public diplomacy with the growing dangers for peace in this world. So why is the world becoming more dangerous day by day? Is it the failure of public diplomacy? And what's public diplomacy? Public diplomacy is an essential tool for resolving conflicts peacefully. Governments use public diplomacy to make narratives by using the media. In the year 2025, we are witnessing the failure of public diplomacy again and again. Now, because I am sitting in Washington, so I will start giving the example of the US. The US President Donald Trump made a claim publicly many times that he can end the Russia-Ukraine war in just a few days, but he failed. He made this claim 53 times before coming into White House a second time. And after becoming president second time, he tried his level best to fulfill his promise. But unfortunately, his diplomacy failed. Yes, it's a fact that President Trump stopped a war between India and Pakistan in May 2025. But we are still facing a threat of a nuclear war in South Asia because now Indian leadership is sponsoring terrorism in Pakistan by using the territory of Afghanistan. Trump embarrassed Indian Prime Minister Modi more than 25 times by repeating that 7 or 8 Indian planes were shot down in May 2025. And that was why the Prime Minister of Pakistan, Mr. Shehbaz Sharif, nominated President Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize on June 21st, 2025. But unfortunately, President Trump embarrassed Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif the very next day on June 22, when he ordered an attack on the nuclear facilities of Iran. It was a big blow to the public diplomacy of both Pakistan and the United States. Mr. Shehbaz Sharif again nominated President Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, where Israel and Hamas signed a peace deal. Unfortunately, Israel never respected that deal and continued innocent Palestinians in Gaza even today. The humanitarian crisis in Gaza created a strong public support for Palestinians all over the world and failed the national security narrative of Israel. This is very important. It's not only Israel, but governments in most parts of the world are no longer in position to control or shape global public opinion according to their own objectives. A 12-day Israel-Iran war this year was also a failure of public diplomacy. Israel actually sabotaged the talks between Iran and International Atomic Energy Agency by targeting the Iranian negotiators. Look at the massacre taking place in Sudan these days. There are more than a dozen spots in the world today where you can see that humans are more dangerous than the animals. The United Nations has failed to implement its resolutions from Palestine to Kashmir and from Ukraine to Sudan. This is not a failure of the UN, it's the failure of the whole civilized world, and this failure is turning this world more dangerous day by day. It's not the only reason making this world more dangerous day by day. We must understand what are the other main reasons behind this failure of public diplomacy. If you go through the Global Peace Index 2025, you will see a small and less known country, Iceland, as the most peaceful country in the world. New Zealand is second, and Austria is third in the global ranking of the most peaceful countries. You will not see any nuclear power in the first 10 most peaceful countries in the world. The biggest democracy in the world, India, is on number 115. Superpower United States of America is at number 128. And the only Muslim nuclear power in the world, Pakistan, is at number 144. And the next is Palestine at 145. And Israel is at number 155. If a nuclear power cannot provide peace and stability to its citizens, then what is the use of this nuclear power? It's not the failure of all the narratives. Is it not the failure of all the narratives built through the public diplomacy and public policy of these nuclear powers? I think, yes, it's the failure of all these nuclear powers. Look at the Global Peace Index through another angle. Almost all top 10 most peaceful countries in the world are also included in the list of the countries with maximum media freedom. Pakistan is ranked at number 158 and India is ranked at 151 in the World Press Freedom Index. Both Pakistan and India claims to be democratic countries, but the Democracy Index prepared by The Economist declared Pakistan as an authoritarian state and India as a flawed democracy. I want to highlight that if you don't have media freedom, you cannot have political stability. And if you don't have political stability, then your public diplomacy is just a useless propaganda, as both India and Pakistan are spending millions of dollars here in United States to win the respect or to win the friendship of Mr. Trump. You must have seen a story published in New York Times 2 days ago. A free media allows peaceful competition of ideas and identifies the root causes of a conflict, while censorship can be used to manipulate a narrative based on disinformation and lies. You don't need to spend millions of dollars on public diplomacy if you have a free media and genuine democracy. What is genuine democracy? Genuine democracy is a system of free and fair election which produces a genuine democracy. I can say through my own experience as a journalist that you cannot have free and fair elections if the media is not free. I have seen 10 elections in Pakistan since 1988. I have covered 9 out of 10 because in one election held in 2008, I was banned by General Musharraf. So I am not very happy to confess here that 2024 was the most controversial election of my life. And now media and judiciary is losing its freedom very fast after the so-called election. Yes, Pakistan defeated India in a war this year, but Pakistan failed to defeat instability and uncertainty at home. And when you see sitting Supreme Court judges announcing their resignation as a protest, it's not a good news for the political stability and economic stability of Pakistan. Some people say that media freedom and political rights are declining all over the world, but they cannot deny the fact that autocrats and dictators cannot manipulate the public opinion by chest thumping a narrative based on false propaganda. What happened in the election of New York's mayor? You all know that Zohran Mamdani won despite the opposition from President Trump. So you can use your ballot as a tool of change if your courts are free. If your courts are not free, then bullets will defeat the ballot. And I believe that courts are free in United States. But unfortunately, the United States has the largest number of prisoners all over the world. This number is more than 1.8 million. And China is on number 2, Brazil number 3, India number 4, and Russia number 5. Pakistan is at number 23. Sometimes the population of the prisons also expose the failure of many official narratives, the failure of the public policy. And now, because I'm talking about the prisons and the prisoners, so if you allow me, I have to talk about a very famous prisoner in Pakistan. Powerful people in Pakistan are fighting against one prisoner. They convicted him in many cases, claim that he is corrupt. They propagate that he is a traitor, and they registered more than 200 cases against him. But he is still very popular among the masses. And censorship in the media and some new constitutional amendments have failed to change the public opinion about him. So it's a direct clash between state narrative and the public opinion, which creates instability and insecurity. So I am mentioning this as an example that why instability becomes a problem. This is not acceptable to a big majority of Pakistanis who believe in democracy. But I must say, it doesn't mean that all is bad in Pakistan. Pakistanis believe in peaceful political struggle. Pakistanis defeated 4 military dictators in last 78 years and will do the same in future. The resilience of common Pakistanis is the biggest source of strength for journalists like me, who survived assassination attempts but never left Pakistan, because majority of the people of Pakistan, they are determined to defeat all those who always violate the Constitution of Pakistan. The world is becoming more unsafe because media freedom and democratic freedom is declining. So we can make this world more peaceful only by protecting and promoting freedoms enshrined in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. This is very important because most of you are the students of public policy. This Universal Declaration of Human Rights was approved by United Nations General Assembly on December 10th, 1948. And that's why 10th December is the International Human Rights Day. So we must fight for the implementation of this charter. Otherwise, we are heading towards a third world war. Why I am talking about third world war? Because Mr. Trump have mentioned it many times. And President Trump stated just few days ago that if I were not the president, that could have led to the third world war. He is claiming that he has ended many conflicts, but I don't agree with him very respectfully. The conflict in Middle East is not over. A conflict between India and Pakistan is not over. Pakistan is now facing attacks from terrorists based in Afghanistan. And Trump is openly saying that US want to take over the Bagram Air Base in Afghanistan because it is only 1 hour away from China. Don't you think that it's a very dangerous statement? If Trump will interfere in Afghanistan, then you must be aware that China and Russia will not tolerate. And these days, Pakistan is a very close friend of Trump. So Pakistan may also face some consequences. So in my opinion, Trump is actually a destabilizing factor for peace in the world. And the Pakistani government is nominating him again and again for the Nobel Peace Prize. I don't think it's a good sign, just trying to please him, that he should not talk about the human rights violations in Pakistan. So the world is becoming more unsafe due to some other reasons, and the climate change is also one of the main reasons. And I can speak on this issue very long, but I will focus just on the implementation of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, because it is the foundation of international law. It's a declaration, but not a binding treaty, and that's why powerful countries are violating this declaration in the name of hyper-nationalism. If you want to make this world less dangerous, we must force powerful leaders to respect Universal Declaration of Human Rights. For example, the Article 19 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights ensures the freedom of expression, the freedom of the media. If I am using this freedom and criticizing the President of the United States in Washington, I would like to do the same in Pakistan, in Islamabad. And that is very difficult these days. So I think I have crossed the time limit. Thank you very much.